In a world of myth and magic, where mountains pierced the skies and forests spread like a verdant sea, there nestled a city of iron and stone. Ironfast it was called, a stronghold of the dwarves, hidden away in the heart of the Iron Spike Mountains. At the core of this bustling city, the rhythmic pounding of a blacksmith's hammer echoed through the labyrinthine stone corridors. There, amidst the smoke and fire, a dwarf worked with an unyielding intensity, his hands shaping the stubborn metal into works of deadly beauty. His name was Thalor Silverbeard, the master blacksmith of Ironfast, a dwarf whose resolve was as unyielding as the weapons and armor he crafted. A typical morning for Thalor would commence as the sun began to illuminate the distant peaks, casting a golden aura over the craggy outlines. This day was unlike any other. For into his forge walked a figure who was a stark contrast to his usual clientele. Tall and slender, with eyes that held an uncommon curiosity, the stranger was evidently not of dwarven blood. He was a human, an adventurer from what Thalor could surmise from his appearance. But it was not his stature or his race that piqued Thalor's interest, it was his request. The stranger wished for a sword, not an uncommon demand in a blacksmith's forge. But he desired not just any sword. He presented several bars of an unusual metal. A material that had not been seen in the dwarf realms for decades. It was a metal that made Thalor's heart race, his mind flood with memories of a past that was both glorious and tragic. It was Dragonsteel. A rare and near indestructible mineral that was found only in the deepest veins of Thalor's lost homeland, Stonedeep. The land that was reduced to ashes and abandoned after the cataclysmic Dragon War. Managing to conceal his shock, Thalor inquired about the source of this precious metal. The human spun a tale of trade in a nearby town of Stonefoot, where he claimed to have purchased it from a dwarf merchant. Intrigued and sensing a possible connection to his lost home, Thalor agreed to fulfill the man's request. As he worked the Dragonsteel into a splendid blade, the human stories of the dwarf merchant fanned the embers of hope in his heart. Once the human had departed, his newly crafted Dragonsteel sword in hand, Thalor embarked on a journey to Stonefoot. Stonefoot was a bustling hub of trade, a crossroads where numerous paths converged. It was filled with merchants, travelers, and adventurers from all walks of life, selling an assortment of goods from exotic fruits to precious gemstones. Thalor spent several days, going from tavern to tavern, from market stall to market stall, seeking the dwarf merchant who sold Dragonsteel. His persistence paid off when he was pointed towards a nondescript warehouse at the edge of town. Inside the gloomy, cavernous warehouse, amongst the towering piles of metals and glimmering gems, Thalor found him. He was a dwarf named Balin or Seeker, a former miner of Stonedeep. As they shared a mug of the potent dwarven brew, Balin recounted the tale of their homeland's rebirth. The survivors of the Dragon War, Balin among them, had ventured back into Stonedeep. Through tireless effort and unyielding resolve, they carved out new passages. Digging deep in secret tunnels, establishing a new Stonedeep hidden from the prying eyes of the world, and more importantly, from the dragons that still lingered. Fueled by a desperate longing to find his kin and return home, Thalor purchased a hefty chunk of Dragonsteel from Balin. The road to Stonedeep, he knew, would be fraught with peril. However, his people had survived the dragons, and he too, would face whatever dangers lay ahead. The knowledge that his homeland was not a desolate ruin but a thriving settlement ignited a flame in Thalor's heart, pushing him towards his destiny. In the weeks that followed, Thalor returned to Ironfast and began preparing for his monumental journey. He first turned his attention to the Dragonsteel he had purchased. Under the relentless blows of his hammer, the Dragonsteel was shaped into an exquisite suit of armor, its polished surface reflecting the firelight like a mirror. Next, he fashioned a pickaxe, sharp and sturdy, meant for cutting through the hardest rock. Lastly, he crafted a hammer, heavy and unyielding. A weapon that would serve him in combat and forge alike. The pieces gleamed under the forge's light, a testament to his skill and the extraordinary properties of the Dragonsteel. His preparations complete, Thalor embarked on his journey. His first encounter was with a band of orc marauders in the foothills of the Iron Spike Mountains. Thalor, with his Dragonsteel armor and hammer, fought fiercely, driving the orcs away. He then found himself in the heart of the Twilight Forest, where he faced the Gloomshade wolves. Beasts that moved like shadows among the trees. The Dragonsteel pickaxe cut through the dense foliage, guiding Thalor out of the deceptive tranquility of the forest. A treacherous climb awaited him next in the Wind Peak Heights, a steep and perilous mountain range. There, the resilience of his Dragonsteel tools was tested against the unyielding stone and the relentless, biting wind. The ordeal of his journey did not just lie in physical challenges. In the glimmering caves, Thalor was tested mentally as he faced the Mindweaver. A creature that ensnared its victims in illusions. It was Thalor's undying resolve, his love for his kin and his longing for home, that saw him through the Mindweaver's manipulative web. After long and arduous months of traveling, he found himself standing before a hidden entrance. The door was engraved with ancient dwarven symbols, a safeguard put in place to ward off intruders. The lock mechanism was an intricate system that required one to crack each symbol, an endeavor that demanded a deep understanding of the ancient dwarven language and lore. Thalor, a true son of Stonedeep, set to work, his Dragonsteel pickaxe serving him well as he deciphered the code. His heart pounded with a mixture of anticipation and excitement. He had cracked all but the last symbol, the entrance to his long-lost home was within his grasp. But his joy was short-lived. A low, ominous growl echoed through the cavern, making him freeze in his tracks. He turned slowly to see two blood-red eyes glowing in the dark. A dragon spawn, a lesser kin of the mighty dragons, but deadly nonetheless, had found him. Thalor's grip on his Dragonsteel pickaxe tightened. The entrance to his homeland lay just beyond the gate, but between him and his destination stood a beast of legend. His fate hung in the balance, creating a cliffhanger that was the precipice between triumph and tragedy.